Matt Fox, and there is so much going on today. It is out of control. The Trump administration is continually doing crap that is against the norms of regular political actions from a republic, a free republic. And therefore, America is facing a lot of different things. You guys have been hit with ICE actions in various cities around America and is causing chaos. Just for information purposes, I am Matt Fox. I am an American from Los Angeles, California, ex-Hollywood, and now sitting in Rostock, Germany, and thankfully so. Because if I were in America, I could not just sit around and do nothing about this situation. You guys are having to deal with it. Many of you are able to ignore the situation, or I don't know how you justify the things that the Trump administration has been doing. But I would like to just touch on a few things and just ask, why is it that it's okay that the administration that is in power yet right now is able to do these things and the public is not up in arms about this situation? So the Trump administration has continually spent money on things that are not necessary, such as bombing Iran, such as that wasn't necessary. You know what I'm saying? That's stuff going on over there. I'm not a big Iran fan. Certainly, I don't want them to have a nuclear bomb. But the whole deal about bombing Iran was not necessarily, a way to spend so much money. And then for him to come and say that they totally obliterated everything and it was proven that it wasn't, is a big problem. And how much money it costed and how many lives were endangered because Pete Hegseth put that information out there on a signal chat. And that's why right now, not just because of that, but because of the Venezuela boat strikes, the illegal Venezuela boat strikes, the Congress is now holding up part of Pete Hegseth's budget, his travel budget, until he comes forward with the information that they need about the boat strikes, because that, my friends, was straight up murder. Straight up murder, and Pete Hegseth needs to be impeached and thrown out of office the same way as his boss and many of his colleagues. In regards to his colleagues, now, was it a few months ago that that Trump's second in command at DOJ over there went over there and had his interview with Ghislaine Maxwell, the famous child sex trafficker, the woman who was sexually involved with the girls also and took part in many sex parties with 13, 14-year-old girls. All right, these girls were not there to be a part of a sex party. They were there to earn some money because they were coming from poor nations and they needed some money. And that was something that they didn't know was coming. But yeah, in the end, they had to sit through and do the things that they did over there. And as we all know, there were videotapes or cameras in all the rooms. So all these activities were probably filmed. There are probably films and videos of many, many actions taking place there with major business people, with major people in governments, and all of these people were being blackmailed. And I'm not going to say by whom, but I can tell you that the money is there to find. Follow the money. When we got a Congress there in America that is willing to do something to follow the money, then you will see that it leads to a particular place. Excuse me. It is early in the morning. I am in Rostock, Germany. It is 9 o'clock in the morning. Because of the situation in America, it affects everything around the world. You already know, right? So America has been making some really crappy moves in regards to Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner going to Russia and chatting it up with Putin and his colleagues. They come back with a plan to have the Ukrainians give up the Donbass and Crimea and the Luhansk areas, and they will supposedly have peace. But that is not going to happen, all right? Because the Ukrainian people do not deserve that, and neither does America or any other country that is attacked by another nation. How would it be if the Russians attacked America and they took over Alaska? Yeah? Would Donald Trump so willingly be ready to give up Alaska in order to not have to deal with Putin? I don't know. I am telling you, Putin has compromat on Trump, and because of that, Trump is willing to bend over backwards to appease Putin and his wishes. And now the U.S. has pulled back all military support for the Ukrainian government. Now the Europeans are having to step in to do more, and rightly so, because the thing is, America is becoming a bad ally, and that is not good. When America is trying to become more of an ally to Russia as the Europeans, we got a major problem. You guys got a major problem in America. And if nobody can step up and make the situation change fast, and I do mean fast, because I said about 2 weeks ago that the Russians only have about 2 months. If that war is not over with in 2 months, then Putin's backers and everybody who is continually pushing this war in Russia, they're going to be gone. I can tell you that. Another thing, let's talk about some other big wastes of money that the Trump administration has done. They gave Argentina $20 billion. What is that shit? They are putting in a big ugly ballroom for what, 300, 400 million dollars? Okay, National Guard in LA just got a ruling on that yesterday, and they are supposed to be backing the fuck out of Los Angeles, and that was totally unnecessary. So $240 million for the National Guard in LA, that's just 2 days. So every day, $130 million. Hey, the military on the border, that costs money, major money, and it distracts from the situations around the world. Our forces are being put in around the nation, and that is not to keep other nations, to protect us from other nations. That is to put you in a circle. And you, people in America, are going to be now surrounded by your own military, because when something breaks out, Trump is going to try to enact the Insurrection Act, and is going to try to hold on to power in America. And it is my belief that you guys, it's not looking good. So let's talk about the stuff that they should be spending money on. They should be spending money on SNAP, housing for people that need housing, social programs to help people overcome drug addictions, alcohol, who are in need of special help with medical situations and stuff, business loans, infrastructure. That's something that the Biden administration was able to get through Congress, bipartisan. So R&D for city planning. Yeah, that's something that's really, really important for America. But what is the Trump administration doing? The Trump administration is now seizing oil tankers off the coast of Venezuela. That is an illegal act. I mean, they might as well be Somalian pirates. I mean, why not? So I'm saying there's no reason for our troops to be endangered in Venezuela when there's nothing there that we need to get. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, if drugs are being trafficked, then they need to be caught on water, they need to be prosecuted or whatever, but that is not a death sentence. You know what I'm saying? When you get caught with drugs in America, you don't face the death penalty. And therefore, these people that have been doing this stuff, they should not have to face the death penalty either. So let's talk about the situation in Europe. The situation in Europe is getting crappier and crappier because the Trump administration has pulled back from the Ukraine situation, leaving the Europeans to take the lead role in helping Ukraine. So in doing so, the governments here in Europe are now talking to their citizens and saying, because of the situation in the Ukraine, that they are going to have to reenact the draft here for teenagers that are becoming young adults, and they are facing now the draft. They got to go in and serve a year of service at least. That's what they're talking about. I'm not sure what it's going to come back out as, but still, the thing is, America has to go back and retake the role as the leader in those areas, because with people like Pete Hegseth, who is now under straight up investigation and under articles of impeachment, they are going to be trying to throw his ass under the bus. And that will be happening very soon. I suppose that Trump will be distancing himself from him, and I can see that he might be one of the first ones to leave government service under the Trump administration. But because Trump is such an ass, he will probably pardon his Department of War secretary before, as he's out the door. But there will be a change. So Stephen Miller continues to push and push and push, and he wants Kristi Noem out because Kristi Noem has not been doing enough in his eyes to send the immigration or the migrants out of America or arrest enough people. So the Americans who are getting caught up in these illegal detainments, illegal arrests, in ICE situations, people who are reporting, people who are protesting are being arrested and thrown in jail for bullshit. This is causing financial strain on families, on neighborhoods, on businesses, and the Trump administration is making it all the worse by saying that only people from specific nations are allowed to come to America. So now tourism is going to be down a lot. And I can tell you that your intake of money for tourism is going to be probably at least 60% less than it was before. So let's talk about a couple of other things that are really, really important. And that is that Putin is making Trump his puppet. Now, many years ago, when Trump and Hillary Clinton were vying for the presidency, they brought up the question of Putin. And Hillary Clinton said that Trump would be Putin's puppet. And she is correct, because since that time, every single time that Putin and Trump have been around together, Putin and Trump have been smiling like two cats in a freaking bag. And listen, every time Putin comes around, Trump throws out a red carpet for him. How can any American who has knowledge of the past, how can they accept this? How can you justify this? Any MAGA people, how do you justify Donald Trump throwing out a red carpet every time he sees Putin, flying jets over and all this other stuff, and making it all big camera moments and stuff? And when Putin was in Alaska, I think Putin let him know, hey, I got these pictures and you need to see them. And that's what they did. And they had a conversation. And Putin checked his ass. Putin checked his ass. And he told him, you better get your ass in line, or these pictures are going to hit the internet soon. So now our allies in Europe are looking at us stupid. They're looking at us stupid because every time Putin comes around, Trump's throwing out a red carpet. And he is trying to talk bad about the Ukrainian people when they are the ones being attacked. You cannot accept Putin's story, and you cannot accept Donald Trump's story, because both of them are lying. Okay? So, for the future, MAGA, you guys need to look at it. MAGA is against war, foreign entanglements. But what's happening now? What's happening now? We're going to go and invade Venezuela for what? We're going to go try to get some drugs from Venezuela? If Trump was so anti-drug, then why did he pardon the ex-Honduran president, the one who is convicted by a jury for fucking transporting over 500 kilos of, or on 500 kilos, 500,000 kilos of cocaine into the United States? Why? Why is that? It's okay. Because you know what? The Hondurans saw that game coming. They saw Putin and, Trump pardoned the ex-president, and they immediately put out a warrant for his arrest because he is a piece of shit. He took advantage of the Honduran people. He was as corrupt as Donald Trump, and that's why Donald Trump is letting him out and letting him off the hook. So now, what is this guy going to do? Is he going to be the next MAGA Republican representative somewhere in America? That's to be seen. So let's look at some other things. So Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner is in Russia, supposedly trying to get a peace deal for Ukraine, when in real life they're just following the Kremlin's orders. They're doing exactly what the Kremlin tells them to. Witkoff's in it for money. Witkoff does not give a shit. He is easily swayed with the promise of money and deals, and Kushner is also in it for deals. I can guarantee you that none of those two, and Donald Trump also not, gives a shit about the Ukrainian people. Donald Trump, Steve Witkoff, Jared Kushner, all three of them all need to be locked up. Every single one of them. I'm telling you, when the government changes and somebody goes into the finances of these individuals. Look here, Trump has been in the public light for about 10 years now in public office. He has not given up his tax returns yet. He said, oh yeah, I'm going to give them up. And later on, maybe he's never given them up. So he has been convicted in New York of sexually assaulting E.J. Carroll, and he is continuing to rape the American public. All right. And you guys, everybody in MAGA, you guys do not understand. He has taken your money at every moment, every opportunity. Look at the shoes, the Bibles, the freaking the putter covers, and my God, it is out of control. Trump vodka and Trump this and Trump that. You guys, if you continue to buy shit from this dude, you are just giving money to a guy that does not care about you. And you know what? If you want to give somebody money, give it to somebody who's going to help somebody out, not freaking somebody who's already got money. So the thing is when it all comes out and the karma comes for Donald Trump, and it will come, it will not be sweet. It will not be sweet for him. So, and I'm going to talk right now to the Republicans lining up behind Trump and trying to utilize their position in the government to enrich themselves. And because of all of this stuff that's been going on, the European Union is now going to be sanctioning America. Is that fucking crazy? Is that freaking crazy? Listen, America needs to be worried about the situation in America, not trying to control the citizens. They need to be building shit. They need to be building AI systems to create more sanitary and efficient water waste treatment. They need to allocate funds for higher education to promote R&D so that America can stay on top of the research areas. It is out of control, and you guys, you do not understand that America is a free country and is not run by autocrats. But now, because Americans have failed to grab hold of the situation and understand what is going on, it is very, very possible that America could face a military attack against its own shores, because Chinese and Russian governments have the understanding and they have a plan. And America is now so weak with this regime that's in office that they would not know what to do if they were attacked. And Russia and China know this now. And as long as the military is sitting around over there in Venezuela, fucking with those people in Venezuela for no reason, then they are not over there where they need to be. And when push comes to shove, America is going to be at war. Not at war in Venezuela, not at war in China, not at war in Russia. They are going to be at war on our own shores in America. And I'm telling you, you guys really need to freaking pay attention. For everybody in America who is sitting there and living your life and forgetting about everything else, you need to stop and really take a look at what's going on over there, okay? Because this is really some bad stuff going on, and it is too much to ignore, all right? And this here is also too much to ignore. Look, that's Donald Trump and Jeffrey Epstein with their hand and just gloating over a 13-year-old girl. A 13-year-old girl. And look at this girl in the background too. She's probably maybe 14. I mean, you guys, how can you expect anybody? Look here. Here's your boy Donald Trump getting on Bubba's cock. Huh? What? I mean, everybody who watches this, how do you explain this? Was he just fixing his pants for him? Come on, man. Look, that's not AI either. That was not AI. I'm just letting you know. All right. So everybody who's in America and sees this or tunes in later on, please understand that America does not deserve this kind of abuse. And thing is when Biden was in power and they were investigating Trump for all the things that he was doing, all the illegal acts that he was doing, because they did not move fast enough, and because the lawyers, Trump's lawyers, were able to get things delayed until until he somehow got back into office and went ahead and killed all the cases. Yeah. You guys, you're in a bad situation. You're really in a bad situation. You need to really wake the fuck up. All right. Inflation. Trump was on the news talking about the economy was A plus, A plus, 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 plus. Hey, you guys, when you go shopping, you see the prices. You see how much things cost. So why is it that nobody is saying anything? You can go to a town hall and express your anger, but you need to be writing your senators. You need to be writing your congressmen. You need to be writing the Supreme Court of the United States, and you need to say, we want Article 2, Section 4. We want all of them out of office. That means the president, his whole cabinet. We need a whole reboot over there. And the Republican Party, every single one of his enablers, everybody in the Republican Party who enabled Donald Trump and that bullshit that he's been doing, they all need to be voted out of office. I'm Matt Fox, and I'm sitting here telling you from Germany that the situation from over here looks really, really bad. And I don't just watch CNN. I watch a whole bunch of other podcasts. I watch a little Joe Rogan. I watch a little this and that. And hey, Joe Rogan is even, I mean, he's in over his head with the shit. He cannot believe the type of shit we're doing over there. Venezuela, why are we blowing up boats, little fishing boats in Venezuela? They said 1 out of 4 of these boats don't even have any drugs on them. So that is murder. That is murder on the high seas by a government with no scruples. Pete Hegseth and the people that are under him, I don't know how it's going to go when it comes time for someone to answer for the things that have been going on. But I know that Pete Hegseth is willing to throw any admiral or anybody under him under the bus. That was easily seen last week when he had his little interview on that podcast. So let's get to some other areas here that are totally important. You guys have been just turning a blind eye to the situation that Donald Trump has tore the White House, part of the White House down. I mean, how is it that you guys just ignore that? It is not acceptable that somebody who comes into office to live in the people's house is just going to tear it up and build something on there for himself. Like he's fixing to stay there forever. Now, there was a couple of months ago when Hakeem Jeffries and Chuck Schumer went over there to visit the Oval Office. And everybody thought it was a real joke, the old Trump 2028 hat on the desk, huh? And yesterday it came out that old Donnie Jr. is going to be trying to make a run for the 2028 presidential election. So, you guys, let me tell you something. Don Jr., you might want to look at some videos of him in the past because I'm pretty sure he might be doing some cocaine. I've seen his podcast and I've seen some videos where he's looking like he's stuffing some cocaine in his lip. He'll probably be having some health problems soon, I'm sure. Nevertheless, the whole parade, the whole military parade that they had for Donald Trump back in the game, $45 million for a military parade. When you look at the pictures of it, it is disgusting. It is disgusting. They had this whole area cleared out. They were expecting millions of visitors to come. And how many people came? Maybe 10,000 or something like that. $45 million for that. How is that okay? How is it okay that Americans are willing to give out millions and millions and millions of dollars for Donald Trump to federalize the National Guard and to have them in cities like LA and Portland and Chicago and Charlotte and Louisiana and New Orleans and stuff? These are areas where there are a lot of brown-skinned people such as myself, And just because I have brown skin doesn't mean I'm not an American citizen. All right. Just because I can speak Spanish or because I can speak German doesn't mean I'm not an American citizen. I sure am. But I was born in Japan. So they don't want me apparently over there. And that's okay because Trump is trying to do away with dual citizenship now. He is trying to do away with dual citizenship. Donald Trump is trying to, with on purpose, he is trying to whittle down the amount of individuals in America, especially those that vote democratically, especially those that have possibly said something against him or his policies. He is trying to whittle down people who come from countries that aren't necessarily, his cup of tea. And he is doing this on purpose so that when the time comes for the midterms, that he can say that it was that they cheated because there's less people there and the vote is not right. He is going to claim it is stolen. And I can tell you, Democrats have been winning at every corner because of the fact that the Democratic Party, stands up for a little bit of laws. Now, the Republican Party was also a party of law, but now the Donald Trump administration and MAGA has made it much, much stupider because of the belief that standing behind Donald Trump was going to do something for them. So the only people it's doing something for is the people who are on his nutsack. And I can tell you, it's not me. And if you have in your social media now, over the past 5 years, if you have said anything against the Trump administration or if you have been positive for anything that the opposition or any opposition politician says, then the Trump administration is going to try to bar you from coming into the United States. And if you are in the United States, you might have a knock on your door. And they might want to have a conversation with you and ask you why you're talking shit about Trump, or why you're talking shit about Kristi Noem, or why you're talking shit about Pete Hegseth, or why you're saying that they should be prosecuted. Yeah, of course they should be prosecuted because they're doing the wrong thing. I am I'm totally pissed off about the fact that everybody just keeps ignoring what the Trump administration is doing. And it's not going to hurt him, it's going to hurt America. America is already looking bad in the eyes of the Europeans right now because of the things that they are doing, the autocratic moves that they are moving to control their own population. That is shit that they do in North Korea. That is shit that they do in Russia. That is stuff that they do in China. And if you guys haven't paid attention, look around. Look around. They are building now in all cities in America. You will see they have been building, and putting in cameras that are now with the facial recognition apps. They will be pulling people aside. They will be pulling Americans aside and asking them why they have been saying bad shit about Donald Trump, why they have been saying bad shit about their policies. See, and that's not right. And in America, we have freedom of the press, freedom of speech, freedom of assembly, and all of these freedoms are being quashed by the Trump administration right fucking now. You guys go out to protest, and you are being shot, pepper sprayed. You are being abused, thrown to the ground, and people who don't even have brown skin are being thrown to the ground. And let me say something else, just so all of the people in America know. The Trump administration is doing all they can to get rid of people that they don't like because they are talking bad about Trump. And it doesn't matter if you're an American citizen. I'm going to tell you what, they're starting with the people with brown skin right now. And I'll tell you what, my African American friends, you guys, I'm sorry. It's gonna be coming. It's going to be coming, and the Trump administration is going to come out with some bullshit ass policy to send all blacks back to Africa. Watch out. I'm telling you, it's going to come. So right now, they're doing all they can to encircle Americans with military. With military, they're just saying it's border control. Right now, they're just saying it's border control. But watch out. Because if you go out of the country to Mexico or whatever, and when you're coming back in, now they want to check your social media for the last 5 years. And if you have said anything bad about America or bad about Donald Trump or bad about his policies or bad about the regime, you are not going to have a good time. They are going to either detain you, they are going to question you, they are going to investigate you, they're going to check your finances, they're going to check your IRS records, everything. Do not think that you are above being investigated. Donald Trump and everybody in his administration, they are going to be facing justice at some point, hopefully. But I'm telling you, if you guys in America do not get a grip on what's going on over there, it's going to be bad. All right. I have to do a little bit more research, but I'm going to come back and do a second live shot today. For those of you who watch this, maybe later on, I want to thank you. I'm Matt Fox. This was Matt Fox on the Tube, and I'll be back later on this afternoon. I hope you guys can subscribe. It doesn't cost anything. Give me a thumbs up because I'm only here to tell the truth about the things that I see and I hear from friends from America, from family from America. I hear from podcasters such as Joe Rogan, the Midas Touch. I look at CNBC, I look at MSNBC, I look at Fox. But I am amazed by the way that the Fox news network, my last name is Fox. That drives me crazy because Fox News is just a puppet of the Trump administration. And it's not going to be good when they continue to spout off the crap, talking points of the Donald Trump administration and ignore the murders in the seas by Venezuela, to ignore the constant killings of innocent Ukrainians in Ukraine by the Russian government. I mean, this guy is bombing apartment houses. He's bombing schools. He's bombing churches. He is bombing everything for no reason. He's not even hitting military targets, and he doesn't give a damn. He is just trying to destroy Ukraine. And the Trump administration is backing his bullshit. There has to be some pushback at some point. Do we want nations to be free, or do we want the ability to come and take over other nations when we feel like we're stronger? Because that's what he's saying. He's saying because Russia is stronger than Ukraine, then Russia has a right to be able to take over part of Ukraine. And that's not right. So if you guys agree with what I've said, then please subscribe to Matt Fox on the Tube. I will be coming back to do a second live shot this afternoon. I might be out and about later on today in the city of Rostock to do another live shot because I want to talk to some people about the situation in America and in Germany, because everything that happens in America affects us in Germany. Wir sind hier in Deutschland und wir mögen das Ruhe und Frieden zu haben. Und wenn die Russen wollen über die Ukraine kommen und durch Polen kommen, dann kommen die für uns auch, yeah? So that means when the Russians are over there in Ukraine and coming through Poland, then they're coming to Germany too. So, and that's why at some point we need to get some serious military wins on the Ukrainian side, because Putin only has about 2 months more to wage his war. And if he doesn't get it done by that time, then he will be facing some serious backlash over there in his own country. It's gone on 3 years now, and I guarantee you it's time to end. And it's not going to be helped by the Trump administration at all, because what he is trying to push for is everything that Putin wants and that's not right. So I gotta, like I said, I gotta do some more research. I'm gonna get back with you guys later on this afternoon. Hopefully the weather's gonna be good and I can go out and do a live shot and do some interviews today. This was Matt Fox on the Tube. Thank you guys for watching. If you didn't watch and you watch later on, subscribe. I'll send you a link and you guys can check out all my podcasts. You'll see that I talked about things that have already happened 4 months prior to it even happening. So you see that I was on the ball before and I'm on the ball now, and I'm gonna fucking do what I can to get that information out to you. I'm Matt Fox reporting to you from Rostock, Germany. I wish you guys a wonderful day. Take care of yourself and stay safe.